Hailing from the Jersey Shore and raised as athletes, the Airey Bros have always shared a passion for physical culture, athletic performance, and human optimization, always striving to be the strongest versions of themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Along the way, they've met some pretty amazing humans and have had some pretty epic adventures. The intention of Airey Bros Radio is to showcase these amazing people and the impact that they've had on them, and to share tips, tricks, and hacks so that you can win each day, every day.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Rich Airey, a.k.a. the 100-Mile Dick, and this is Airey Bros Radio. As always, my dance partner, the Prince of 1512. What up, dog?
What up, Dog Pound? Prince James here. How you doing today, Richie Rich?
Living the dream. Better than most.
Not even trying to boast. It's a state of mind. It's heavenly. It's divine. What we got for the people today, Richie?
Today, on episode 21 of Airey Bros Radio, we got Gene Lezark, correct?
Yes, sir.
Gene is the owner, proprietor, head coach of CJA Wrestling, one of the premier wrestling clubs in New Jersey, and one of the OG wrestling clubs in New Jersey.
Yeah, this was a special podcast for me. I had the superstar coaching staff when I wrestled at Middlesex County College. I had Mike Mao, I had Coach Byard, and I had Gene. So to get Gene on to kind of cap off having all my coaches on was really epic, and getting to listen to Gene talk about how CJA started and kind of where it's taken him, and just kind of get Gene's views on wrestling. You know, Gene is one of the few club coaches that really doesn't put a lot of stock into what his kids do. Like, obviously he wants his kids to do good, but Gene understands it's past wrestling and it's past your accomplishments in wrestling. That's why I think he has always had a high caliber kid come out of his club. You know, growing up, I used to think that Gene was nuts because the wrestlers that went to his club, and then when I had Gene as a coach, I realized it was more so where the club was located, and he was dealing with some of those crazies in that area. But then when I got to know Gene more and got to know the kids more that went to his club, I always, knew they were stand-up guys, worked really hard. Gene was one of the first coaches that really got me into watching videotape, and to get to talk to him about his mindset on wrestling and how he approaches wrestling was really cool. And I really think our listeners and our wrestling fans are really going to appreciate this podcast.
Yeah, it was a great conversation, and it's always great to talk to people in the wrestling world that have a mind similar to what we think about the sport and how the sport can be better and how you can develop kids better. So it's really refreshing to talk to guys like Gene, to talk to guys like Coach Heller, Mike, as always, and then Reese. From my perspective, from where I'm coming from, it makes me happy to know that, that's the direction that people are trying to ascend, with wrestling, because I think in my own experiences and then things that I've observed, both as a competitor but then also as a coach, there's a lot of negativity surrounding it, and it's, at the end of the day, wrestling is a martial art. Some people can argue, myself included, that it is the greatest martial art or the most dominant martial art. But martial arts, they teach kids discipline. They teach people how to be better human beings. They teach you how to strive and persevere when the going gets tough. And, I think there's just little things like weight cutting and just people that are in it for the wrong reasons that kind of sours people or leaves them with a bad taste in your mouth. So to talk to Gene and to hear his thoughts and his perspectives on what he emphasizes, it was a great conversation, and I'm grateful that we were able to get him on and talk with him for a bit.
Yeah, to give Gene that spotlight to kind of put him over and put himself over, because Gene's not a guy who really brags. Gene's not going to tell you about how many state champs he has or NCAA place winners. You know, I know that, you know that, just because we followed the sport for so long, and we know the kids that have been in there, the kids, some of the best in the state, always getting privates with Gene, always getting that one-on-one time with Gene. But Gene's not the type of guy to post those kids on his website or to brag about it. So to kind of just give Gene a platform to let everyone know that, hey, here's a guy who's been running this club in New Jersey for over 20 years and has been doing a really good job at it, and he's still doing it. You know, like, how many clubs have we seen come and go? And Gene has been there since day one, and he's still doing it, and he's still one of the top clubs in the state of New Jersey. So to give Gene this opportunity, for Gene to give us this opportunity to have him on and let the people know about Gene and what he's done for the sport of wrestling in the state of New Jersey, means a lot to me, just because Gene has done so much for me as a coach. I hope everyone really enjoys this podcast, because I know we had a really good time recording it.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Sit back, relax, enjoy today's episode of Airey Bros Radio. Much love. Namaste from the boys of 1512. Would you wish you had a little bit more of the high school scene?
No. I like both. Don't matter.
Yeah.
You know, they both have different needs. Some kids, a lot of my youth kids, believe it or not, are like way more advanced than a lot of my high school kids. So, you know, it doesn't make a difference.
What do you think?
And then,
what do you think that is with the youth kids being more advanced and maybe more into it than the high school kids?
I think it's the parents. I don't think it really is the kids, to be honest with you. I think, you know, majority of the parents I have, you know, are they're just not into it. You know, I used to deal more on the phones with parents back in the day, and everything's more sociable. Now they just kind of drop them off. You never see them. I don't even know what half of them are. And the youth parents, you know, they stick around because they don't want to drop their kid off and just leave them. But I do see more parents like sticking around and doing more things, traveling to tournaments. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's something in the air, but this generation definitely feels like it changed, you know. But it's definitely the parents.
Do you prefer the parents being more hands-off?
No, I think they got to know, you know, where they stand. So they got to make sure they get them rides to the club. They can't be bothering me while I'm teaching, you know, so that, you know, I don't care if they drop them off, leave, come back and get them. It's good that, you know, they communicate with me and make small conversation, as long as they're not telling me how to coach, you know. I'm not going to tell them how to do their job. But
you get that sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, once in a while, but now I'm a little older, Jim, so I don't really take shit, you know. So, no, but in all fairness, I think the ones that are more involved, the kids seem to do better, as long as they're not over the top on the kids, because then you definitely see the kids burn out, which I've seen several times over the years.
Yeah. Now, being a father yourself now, and
yep.
Yeah, are your boys wrestle?
Yeah, they're both 11 and 9, and I've been wrestling a few years now.
How do you manage that, giving advice and caring, but at the same time not being too all in and being too much?
It's a really good question. Basically, I keep my distance. I try not to get on them too much, and we're taking it more like a marathon. Just from the lessons I've learned dealing with parents over the years, I feel like the best ones are the ones that, you know, let the coach do their thing. And me being a coach, you know, I try not to ride them too much. I just treat them like everybody else during a class, treat them no differently. I think my parents actually always come up to me, they're like, wow, it's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was your kid. You know, parents of kids that are there for months. So I just try to treat them like everybody else in a room. But, you know, you want to see them do well. But they got a while, so I'm taking it slow. They've never been to a state qualifier or anything yet. Like, there's really no rush. And I feel like some people are rushing for that finish line way too early. And you know what, Jim? Some kids can handle it, like an Anthony Ashnall, and some kids just can't. That's the truth.
So, are they competing at all, or are they just training?
No, they're competing. Yeah, they're wrestling. They're winning most of their matches. They're losing matches too, you know. But I like where they're at. They're getting better every year, and that's the most important thing.
Are they chomping at the bit to go to the qualifiers and to do a little bit more, or are they kind of just doing what you let them do?
They started. My older one started talking about it this year. I'll start pushing him like 7th, 8th grade a little bit more. If he's really serious about this, he's going to have to do something. I don't want him lazy. He's going to have to do something. I don't care if he just chooses golf, that's fine. We're going to go all out, I'm a believer in whatever you do, you put everything you have into it. So, eventually, he's going to hit that age where he is going to have to step up. But, I'm not pushing him to do those things. You don't have to be like a national champion at 10 years old,
Yeah, no, it's definitely about the long game.
Yep.
Having that perspective. Fun is the name of the game.
Yeah, man, you got to have fun with it, I know Penn State a couple of years ago when they won the NCAA title, they're all about, having fun, And I think that's important, especially the youth kids' age, that they're enjoying themselves,
No, all around. And unfortunately, sports like wrestling or other combat sports or martial arts, specifically wrestling, can sometimes get a bad rap as not being fun. And nowadays you have guys like a Yanni who just talks about how much he loves wrestling, whether it's the training component of it or the competition component. It's really refreshing to see guys like that are just so into it and love it. And I think part of that too comes from removing, that ugly aspect of weight cutting to a certain extent, to allow you to enjoy the practice component of it, and not just be about, I'm here to lose weight.
Yeah, isn't that guy awesome, man? I agree. I feel like most of the good ones, most of them are brought up the right way. But you get parents trying to live through their kids, making their kids, suck down 6 pounds, and that does give you got a 9-year-old cutting like 5 pounds to make weight to win a tournament. I mean, give me a break. That's where it gets a bad rep, but it always stems from the parents. If you do a good job, you can pass it on to your kid. Usually the kid will grow up the right way, and like I was saying, in my club, I'm getting a lot of those youth kids that thankfully we have great parents.
So on the subject of parents, Gene, when I was growing up and when I was wrestling, you had some of the most infamous parents in New Jersey. And before I even knew you at Middlesex, I always thought you were this intimidating, brash guy because of the kids and the parents. And then when I met you, I realized that wasn't you. It was kind of the environment where your club was in. Speaking on some of those parents, do you have any kind of funny or outrageous, crazy stories you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I've seen it all, definitely, man. I've been doing this 25 years of coaching now. Been running my club all those 25 years. And definitely you see a lot of different individuals. Thankfully we have some mostly wonderful parents. And then, when you're doing things that long and you're dealing with that many people every year, you're bound to see, a lot of different things. And, we've had parents in jail while kids are coming to us. We've had parents that are doctors. I'm taking my kid to the ER a couple years ago, and who's taking care of him? But, somebody that I coached his father. So, you see everything, But, we definitely had some crazy ones, I guess you could say. Crazy stories. I had one parent that would, he would tape his kid. Supposedly, I found out about it. I had to talk with him, and he denied it. But everybody's saying he was taping his kid to the pull-up bar. He thought he wasn't working hard enough. So that was one thing that happened. Another guy, we're at a tournament. We're hanging out. We're having a couple drinks. Somebody put their drinks down on the table. He goes, "Are those for us?" And then the guy's like, "No." He just smacks them across the room. So just, a lot of little things like that. Nothing too crazy where anybody did anything really to break the law. But, the pull-up incident, that one bothered me a little bit. So I had to have a talk with that guy. And like I said, he denied it. But, we've had definitely some stormy parents. They get loud in the corner. I think I was a younger coach when I had a lot of those parents, and I definitely probably got walked on a little bit too much. That I'm a little bit older, I don't put up